is for everyone who had a toasted cheddar chalupa.
Alright, so all I'm doing right now is a bit of research. Trying to see if I can find anything, any fight clubs that show very clear, clear evidence of some issues with demon souls. I don't have anything yet. Problem is, what I'm looking for, like, there's literally no one who's using spells in this fight club that I'm watching. And it's not surprising. I mean, it's just not meta. It will never be meta. But one thing I was looking for is the guaranteed wake-ups, because that's an obvious issue with the game. I'm going to be talking in depth about a lot of this stuff. I need to send out a notification, to be honest. Yeah, literally no one is doing what I'm looking for, because the person I'm watching, they play locked on the entire time. Like, you can't do anything with that. If they're locked on, they're never going to get a backstab, they're never going to get a guaranteed wake up. It's like, cringe PvP. Very passive PvP. Alright. Mike, thank you for the birthday wishes. I am turning 31. It's not my birthday today, but I'm celebrating my birthday today because, well, tomorrow's not my stream night. That's my wife's. She's streaming. But tonight, let's just pretend it's my birthday. Went into GameStop today, and I ordered a PS5. I don't know if it's going to go through. I hope it goes through. But we'll see. I'm super excited. I can't wait to play Demon Souls on the PS5. But basically this whole stream is going to be talking about the original versus the remake. Don't really have very many in chat right now. However, I think now would be a good time to start. So all I'm doing is I'm going to be looking up stuff as I think of it, and we're going to be seeing what kind of issues we have to look forward to for Demon Souls. Well, these are my changelog notes. Not really anything surprising. We already know PivotCast is in, and that's great. I have confirmed there are some issues that remain, like blocked backstab. But what I'm going to do right now is we're going to cover the lock glitch for now. I don't think it's patched. This is RK, so we'll look at his video. And I'm going to mute the music.
40. Oh, no, that stays at 18.
Let's up the quality too.
This is
Let's go with
exactly
1080p.
125. Wait, what the hell? I thought it was exactly 125. Where am I missing?
Okay, so at this point, I'm realizing how busted this potentially can be.
I'm actually going to do
In the
this.
old Demon Souls games, there was a way to de-level your base stats. That was patched in the North American release, so that was no longer really available. I thought that was what was happening here, but it looks like it's actually something different. What turns out is happening is that when you coin glitch your luck, it becomes the highest stat, and when you get soul sucked, it of course takes a point from that highest stat. But because it undoes the coin glitch, it's taking away from your current luck stat. By taking away from your current
Welcome
luck
in,
stat,
Tomato.
you can therefore reduce it below your base luck. And we're going to do this over and over, and sure enough, you can get 0 luck.
Okay, so this right here. I had to scold someone in the Demon Souls Discord the other day for posting a build that was level 80 on Mugen, but titled Soul Level 69. And the reason is because they weren't counting on this glitch to reduce their luck stat to 0. This is a major problem because those are extra points that an invader normally would not have, or even a host, and it alters their matchmaking. So if they have 0 in that stat, and that stat is originally at 11, that's 11 points they can put elsewhere. At low soul level, 11 points is huge. Like, seriously, it is massive. So players that are doing this are saving tons of points and invading a lower tier than they should for the stats that they have. What's worse is that they can combine this with other glitches, like the Ring of Magical Nature and the Ring of Devout Prayer, which give you additional spell slots. If you're going for a Northern Regalia, let's just say you make a knight. If you reduce the luck stat to 0, a knight can wield Northern Regalia at soul level 4. Soul level 4, 540 AR. Okay? and they still have second chance. Think about that. Soul level 4, second chance, 540 AR weapon. Because there's no weapon matchmaking. That's a problem. That is a major problem. This is something that was never an issue in Demon's Souls, the original Demon's Souls. Even though they didn't have weapon matchmaking, Soul level 4, Northern Regalia with second chance was never possible. And that is disgusting. That is a huge, huge issue. This is not the end of that problem, though. And I'm going to let this video speak for itself.
Interesting.
Of course, the only logical next step is negative lock.
Oh boy. Oh boy. Negative lock, here we go.
Okay, you see that, right? Right there. -1 luck. This means that you can actually reduce your soul level, okay, below what you should have. Well below it. In fact, you can go as far down as you want. I'm told it's uncapped. You can go as far down as you want. Which completely negates the point of soul level matchmaking, because you can make a max level character with so much negative luck that they can match with whatever level they want, as long as this soul level says 41, they can matchmake with anyone who's level 41. And if they push this down further, if they went to -30, that would be reduced by 29 points. And they can invade hosts with that many more points. This is massive. I know they're working on the luck glitch, but I don't know if they really know about this aspect of the glitch, and whether they're going to address the issue of players who are glitching their characters either pre-patch, like offline pre-patch, or just legacy saves where they have this negative luck. And that's not the only problem with negative luck. As Tomato said, it lets you one-shot everything with a BBS.
Oh god. Okay. Okay.
And doing this has a really interesting...
Next thing we're gonna try is blue blood soul. Let's see what.
It has a really interesting effect.
Apparently, you get negative attack. What does that mean? Well, we'll find out.
The fuck?
No damage.
Oh,
The-
that is busted.
The bar didn't even deplete. Did you notice that?
They just die. It doesn't even do damage. It's just instant death.
So, if enemies respond this way, I wonder what happens to PvP. And since this is not, soul level 999, it is a valid soul level. PvP in theory could happen, but for experimental purposes, we're going to ask a friend to come in and join us. We're going to ask Mr. JSL.
All right. Yeah, actually block it. I want to see what happens. Block it first.
You see that, right? You see that. Dark Silver Shield, 100% magic and physical reduction, and the BBS with negative luck just does not care. And there's a reason behind that.
Oh shit. Oh god. Okay.
So from what we can see, JSL actually lost his soul level when he died there.
The fact that JSL lost a soul level there means that a negative luck BBS is an environmental kill, because if invaders die to status or a fatal fall or anything like that that's environmental, they lose a level. If they leave a session, they lose a level. The only way that they don't lose a level is if they disconnect from a session. So, in other words, it doesn't matter what you do against this weapon. The BBS with negative luck is a death stick. It is a literal death wall in weapon form. Dian, welcome. Eveldian, welcome. Ziggy, thank you for the birthday wishes. So, yeah, this is kind of a problem. Even if you don't use the negative luck BBS, negative luck itself is a problem. And I really, really hope that Bluepoint does something about this, because it is so insanely game-breaking. It completely breaks matchmaking. And it could destroy the game. Like, if this never got patched, it's all you would see. We already have that issue with Dark Souls 3 and Unscaled. Same with Dark Souls Remastered. They said that the luck glitch will get fixed. However, if they make it, if they forget about this aspect where you D-level luck below base, this will persist as a problem. I think what they should have done is they should have made it so that the ring, or not the ring, I'm sorry, the gold coin does not boost your luck stat, but instead boost your discovery. You would completely eliminate this problem. I feel bad for wanting to hop back on OG. Don't. I mean, the original is still really good. It plays just as good as it ever did. But I really, really think that this is a major problem, and it's not the only problem. I'm going to be talking about
So
a
what it's
bunch of
actually
different
doing
problems
is
tonight.
that for some reason it's treating it as an environmental weapon. We're not dealing damage. You just die if you get touched. It's pretty busted.
So that right there, he just pushed him. It just confirms that it makes it an environmental death. I'm going to skip through. Let's see.
Strongly urge people to not abuse this glitch. You don't even really need to use it offline.
Is there
There's no
anything
reason to
else?
have a net fest that, you know, we invaded you with such a busted.
Yep, it works.
So that was just him confirming that it works in PvP. I think what Bluepoint should have done is looked at the original issues that the game had and then thought about how they would affect the remake, because the luck glitch is not new. The luck glitch was in the Japanese version of the game, and it was patched. Since they used the original Demon's Souls as a foundation for the remake, they basically stripped it of everything, left the base code of movement and all that stuff, and built from the bottom up. The fact that luck can go negative like this just means that they did not investigate the issues that the game had prior to it reaching North America. We never saw this glitch in North America because it was patched in the disc release before we ever saw it. The same thing for EU. Running Firestorm got patched because it got a lot of attention. Like, it never got patched on OG, but it was taken out of the remake because they knew it was going to be a problem. And I'm all for that. That is amazing that they took the initiative to leave PivotCast in, and they fought for it, by the way. They fought for leaving a lot of these glitches in. And they removed Spell Swap, which was one of the most problematic glitches in the game. But in the process of remaking the game, they somehow added all of these new glitches that are a real problem. This being a major one, but not the only one. So I don't really have any footage of it right now, but there is another issue with weapon matchmaking. Okay, I'm going to cover that right now. There is no weapon matchmaking in Demon's Souls. There never was, and there is not now. And this goes back to what I was talking about with the Soul Level 4 Northern Regalia because of zero luck. Northern Regalia is an endgame weapon that is so powerful that it was literally banned from a lot of tournaments at meta. So using it below meta is just overwhelming for most players. If you're an honest PvEer and you're running through the game and someone comes in with Northern Regalia, you don't stand a chance. And you shouldn't have to deal with that. +5 Crescent S-Stock. Prin is on point with that. That was another very low soul level twink weapon, because it could kill with crits. Like, it was a guaranteed kill on backstab below soul level 60. It's completely busted. But it's only busted because there's no weapon matchmaking. We've had weapon matchmaking since, let's see, they added it in the original Dark Souls. They had it in Dark Souls 2, I believe. They had Soul Memory, so that was something. They had it in Dark Souls 3. They did not have it in Bloodborne, but Bloodborne was in the process of development after the Artorias of the Abyss. There's none in Dark Souls 2. Okay, so that's out. But Dark Souls 3, they did it specifically to avoid this issue of abuse. Now, the fact that they don't have weapon matchmaking is an obvious problem, because if someone is just running the game and they're fighting an invader who's experienced, they're never going to stand a chance, especially if the invader is twinked out. But at the same time, there are factors that are pushing invaders to prepare to do that. It's completely priming the landscape of invasions to be that way at low level and even mid level, because there is no phantom scaling. If you password summon someone in, they can be any level, and there is absolutely no downscaling. They could be max level, and you're fighting a max level, like an unmitigated max level, which is honestly worse than what we got with Dark Souls 3 with Unscaled, because Unscaled needed to use a glitch to do that. And in this, they're just giving it away for free. It's like, hey, I can just put a password on. I don't need to know any glitches. I am just going to get summoned in. I can be any level I want. And I'm going to be completely unmitigated. I'm actually going to show you guys a video of what it's like dealing with an Unscaled. Let's see if I can find it. Now, search for Unscaled. Okay, here we go. This was really, really nice and fun. Like, I knew it was a dedicated gank because everything was dead. And I ended up fighting a very, very latent Japanese player. You like that? That was level 60. A level 60 character fighting someone who's completely unmitigated, meta or higher. They almost one-shot me with a plow. A dark plow. Think about this, please. A plow does not do a lot of damage. Even with Hornet Ring, it does not do a lot of damage. And they almost one-shotted me at 40 vigor. And this is Dark Souls, okay? This is Dark Souls 3. Demon Souls has much higher damage than Dark Souls 3. The only exception, really, is that Dark Souls 3 has the Chaos Dagger. Like, that's the exception here, okay? If you're playing Northern Regalia, and you're at level 30, you're going to have all your points in Vitality, and you're facing people who have their points scattered everywhere. They'll never stand a chance against this. This is my luck build, or not my luck build. Wait a minute, no. I have a Hollow Spear, so this was definitely my luck version. And it shreds most PvEers, but the fact that I was not able to deal with this guy, he basically one-shotted me with something that shouldn't even come close to one-shotting, is a testament to how bad things will be when we actually get into Demon Souls and people are running max level DBS, max level BBS, max level Meat Cleaver, camping for invaders at level 30, 50, 80. Heck, even meta ganks with Unscaled are disastrous. Like, it's so hard to fight against. Let's see. I need to see if I can find more evidence of Unscaleds. Now, let me go back to my videos. Hold on. Okay. this is another one. And this is my level 60 fighting a level 284. So he's got Havels. Court Sorcerer's Staff. He's got the LKS, Lothric Knightsword. That was 310 damage, okay? And I want you guys to pay attention to how much damage this is. 101. And he's doing more than 3 times the damage with his straight sword. I do half his damage. Exactly half with my straight sword. Okay, where's the great arrow? You're gonna see it in a little bit. There it is. So that's a Millwood. Okay, we've already established that he has Millwood, a dark... No, he has a Chaos Lothric Knightsword. He has sorceries. Like, there are no downsides to his character. He's dealing so much damage, and there's nothing I can do to combat this. Like, he just does so much damage and takes so little damage. Yay! 666 damage, and that does less than half his health. Bear in mind, even if I had a plus 10 weapon here, I would still do hardly any damage to him. Did y'all see those souls? 29,000. The average that I get at this level is like 6,000. And the fact that Bluepoint was not aware of this just suggests that they have not really participated in the dialogue of invasions and stuff like that in Dark Souls 3. Like, they just came into Demon Souls PvP from the perspective of, we're looking at Demon Souls as it originally was, and we're going to keep it the same. But the games have made improvements since then that have helped to combat things like this. And obviously, it's not working here because they abandoned Dark Souls 3 and didn't care to patch things like this. But if Demon Souls had weapon matchmaking, you would see a lot less twinking and a lot more honest invasions. And then if they included phantom scaling, you would not see problems like this. Like, it's a positive feedback loop where you have invaders that are fighting these ridiculously overpowered phantoms and overcompensating, and then these phantoms that are doing everything in their power to make sure they have the biggest advantage they possibly can over invaders. The fact that they're down here waiting for invaders, it makes sense strategically because they're waiting for people to come down the ladder and to pick off one by one. And this is what we can expect with Demon Souls. The invasion scene is going to be just like this, where all we fight is these gankers that are camping in the level with no enemies to fight, cutting off all routes of escape, and just killing invader after invader after invader. And all of those invaders that are going low level with the intention of dealing with stuff like this, they're always going to be compensating, and they're going to make people hate invasions and hate PvP. The whole problem that most people have with the PvP in these games, it's not that it's, like, bad. It's not that it is kinda unbalanced. It's the fact that they are introduced to the PvP with things like the invader just one-shotting them because they're twinked out, or they're abusing their max level Estus, or, full stock of consumables, while the host has nothing, or they're relying on their summons to carry them. The first time you're killed by a twink, you're like, I hate this twink. Fuck that guy. I hate the PvP. And then you never get to give it a try. That is the general approach that most people have toward PvP in these games. And it's really sad, because I feel like invasions are the first impression of what the PvP is like in the game, and if that first impression sucks, no one will give it a chance. It deters people from actually trying it. It makes people resent it, to the point of disconnecting constantly, which is a problem that has become insanely popular with Dark Souls 3 and Demon Souls. And it also makes them salty toward invaders, and makes them see them as villains. Red man bad. Like, you know that meme? So they form gank squads. They're like, I'm gonna get revenge on those filthy invaders. I hate invaders. I'm gonna get revenge on them. I'm gonna get all my buddies. We're gonna do everything we can to kill them, grief them, however we can. And it'll be fun. Rubbing their face in the dirt like that. I don't think that's what we should work toward. I don't think that's how invasions were ever meant to be. But I think that we have reached a point where that's what is going to be expected, because they don't take these measures. They don't try to fix these things and balance them. So, with all of that said, the next thing I want to talk about is guaranteed wake-ups. I don't have any videos to show you, but actually, you know what? I think I do. I just don't have remake videos. Playlists might be better. One of the issues that we see with... I'm just going to turn the volume off for this. One of the issues that we see with the remake that did not exist in the original is guaranteed wake-ups. In the original, if you got backstabbed, or if you got a riposte, or, whatever, if there was any kind of crit or knockdown, They were not guaranteed. No one was guaranteed a wake-up attack unless they absolutely timed it perfectly. And I think that's a good system because they had enough iframes where you could safely get out. Unless, you somehow missed, like you got hit because it was a frame-perfect wake-up, which is rare. That's like, I would say that it's only really seen with really, really good DBS players. And it made wake-ups skillful. Like, you had to time your attack properly to get a wake-up. The problem with the Demon's Souls remake that I've seen with the PvP is that wake-ups are guaranteed. Some of them are absolutely ridiculous, and they should not even be close to reasonable, but the fact that you can do something like backstab with a DBS and do a backstep R1 and there's no way to dodge it, that will kill you. I don't know if you guys know this, you probably do, but a DBS backstab is a guaranteed kill in Invader versus Blue, or Red versus Blue, whichever one has a DBS. No matter what their VIT, it is a guaranteed kill, because it does over 1300 damage, which is more than 99 VIT. That's without a buff, by the way. So if you were to play a DBS and you backstab someone, it is not latency dependent. They actually tied it to, I think what they did is they made it so that when you got up you had the same number of frames, the same number of iframes, but it was not enough when they bumped it up to 60 FPS. I think that's what happened. So what you get is, let's say you get backstabbed by a greatsword, like the DBS. It one-shots you on backstab. You get knocked down, they can backstab, after the backstab, if they do a backstep R1, it is guaranteed. Like, the timing is perfect. It is guaranteed. And that's a GG. You get killed in one shot. Like, there's no dodging it. And I think that's a huge balance issue. That's a huge factor that is going to affect the meta. This Faith build that I'm fighting, if he backstabbed me with that greatsword, he'd one-shot me no matter what my VIT is, because he's running a Faith build. Like, that's not a regular old greatsword. That's a blessed greatsword. One shots at 50 VIT. And the backstep R1 would be guaranteed to hit. Another one that I know of is Uchi Katana, or really any katana. The backstab combos with the R2. It didn't do that before. And if that's a cursed katana, that backstab is going to kill. Well, it's going to crack second chance. And then that R2, if it's a helpless, it's going to kill. Like, that's a lot of damage. Another one is a backstab to ignite wake up. Another one you can't dodge, and it's a guaranteed kill. Kame, welcome. Prin, welcome. I've been, sorry I haven't been welcoming everyone in chat. I'm just trying to give my stream of consciousness here and tell you guys how things are going to affect the meta, how they are affecting the meta, and kind of how things like this should have been avoided. So what I'm hoping for with this issue is that they grant more iframes on wake up so that you don't have guaranteed wake ups. Otherwise, we're going to have a meta that is extremely boiled down to what few weapons have a guaranteed wake up. Like greatswords, the DBS, that's a huge one. Blessed Greatsword is, probably just as bad or worse, because a Blessed Greatsword backstab kills 50-bit phantoms on backstab, and if you do Death Cloud, that's guaranteed for a wake up. And if you don't do that, you can do the backstep attack, and there was some talk that I had with someone like, oh yeah, you can add it adds a little bit of a dynamic, because you can play that mind game of doing the guaranteed wake up, but then also potentially getting hit. Like, you risk getting backstabbed, and I was just thinking, what is the point of anything like that? What is the benefit of doing that if you lost second chance and then the wake up did most of your remaining health? The only thing that I can possibly think of is that you switch to Clever Rat, anticipating your HP is going to go below that threshold, but, not completely deplete. And even then, you are in hyper mode with one hit left, versus them potentially having full HP with second chance. I don't think that's good for meta. I think that's really just going to boil it down to, does it KO on backstab and wake up, or does it not? And if it does, it's going to be meta. And if it doesn't, it's not. That's honestly the last thing that I want for meta, because I really want there to be as much variety as possible. And I think that something as simple as this, as easy as it is to correct this, if it never got corrected, it would kill the meta. It would kill the fun of PvP, because honestly it would just be about getting that backstab and wake up. So, there's been some talk about meta level, and I've heard people saying like level 80 is the new meta, and then another person said 120. I'm really hoping that the community can convene on the original soul level. Well, it's not really original, but it came later. Soul level 125 was the meta that the community came to a consensus on around 2011, 2012, because it promoted the most build variety of all of the level brackets, while balancing hybrids. Like, it took hybrids into consideration so they wouldn't become too powerful, but they would still be viable. Like this build that Zubroska is using, that's me as the mage, by the way. The build that Zubroska is using, the DBS mage, is a hybrid. It's a strength magic hybrid that is good at meta. It is not great at meta, it's just good. And this is something that you really could not pull off at a lower soul level. If you were to go to 80, the most you're going to see is, it's pretty much going to be Vit Gouge and physical builds, to be honest. Mage is still pretty powerful, but you're going to have 30 magic, and more likely than not, you're going to have a lower spell count for most mages, which I don't think is good for variety. I think the minimum a mage needs to be successful in PvP is 5 slots with 100 MP. That's the minimum. You remove push TOB as a build option, which is actually a really, really nice build for building up your skills as a mage, and also giving you the ability to conquer turtles because you get Large Sword of Moonlight. and it's different. It's not like your typical mage. That's what I'm using in this clip, by the way. You're never going to see anything like that below meta, though. You wouldn't see that at 120. You wouldn't see it at 80. It's going to be physical builds and Northern Regalia and maybe BBS. But anyways, I think that maybe it's a good point to move on to some of the other issues that I think the Demon's Souls remake is going to have. I'm going to have to think about that, though. So give me just a sec. Okay, so when I was... let's mute this and make this full screen. Actually, no. I'm not going to do full screen. I'm going to just go to the site. So, I can kind of get why they did it, but something that I think that they shouldn't have done is leave the two-hand L1s and L2s for weapons the same, which is just a block. It doesn't really make sense in the context of modern Souls to have that, but just thinking about what they could have done with the two-hand L2s, instead of having a block, maybe they should have had something like a two-handed push that will guard break, which is especially useful for larger weapons since they have such a slow push. But if they had that kind of push that guard breaks, it would make shields a lot less important. And make ultras and, well, actually, it'll make really any weapon that doesn't have the ability to guard break, it'll make them more effective. It will... I guess I kind of have to backpedal a little bit here, but one of the major problems with Demon's Souls, the original Demon's Souls, was that shield stability was way, way too high. Like, Night Shield has 78 stability, and in the remake, it has 78 stability. That's unchanged. I don't think that a lot of people have caught on to this idea of shields being as powerful as they are. I know that people are really clinging to the Dark Silver Shield because it's OP as fuck. But I don't think that most of them realize the raw power of a Night Shield plus 10. 78 stability is more than you can expect from any of the parry shields in Dark Souls 3 or Dark Souls 2. In some... I think it was on YouTube, someone commented, well, Dark Souls has Magic Shield, and that can give you like 100% stability on a shield. And it's like, yeah, okay, well, that's a buff. That's temporary. Demon's Souls shields have absurdly high stability with no downsides. Like a parry shield, having great shield stability is ridiculous. You're gonna see Night Shield and Dark Silver Shield on virtually every character because they have such high stability, and Dark Silver Shield, honestly, does not have a weakness. That's why you're gonna see it 90% of the time, Scorch. 100% physical, 100% magic, 70% fire, 65 stability, and a 30% magic defense buff. A lot of people may try to counter with, oh, well, it has 70% fire, so you can get a little bit of chip. But it's not a lot of chip. Like, you might think that it's a lot of chip, but it's not a lot of chip. I'm actually gonna see if I can find the clip where I was doing a little bit of testing with woodchuck. Let's see, where are my videos? It's showing me as live, so I need to go to, I think, video producer. It's not debug. It's not that. Not that. Did they really got rid of all of my videos? Seriously? They got rid of all of my videos. Bastards. Okay. Well, since I can't view that stuff, I'm just gonna talk about it. What I saw in my fights with woodchuck is that a dragon weapon versus my dark silver shield did practically nothing. It was low, very low double-digit damage, so low that I could literally just regen it through my dark silver shield with a dragon Mirdan hammer. Or no, he had a dragon guillotine axe, which is similar in power. I think it's similar in power. His attacks did so little damage through the shield that I literally could have just regened, and he had a black phantom damage bonus. That's including foe's ring. That's including black character tendency and neutral world tendency. His damage was so tiny through that shield with a weapon that should have done decent chip, according to some people, that if I had a faith build, I could have just regened it in a few seconds. All I have to say is, why? Why did this not get the treatment that it needed? It's honestly a bit upsetting that it did not get fixed. I'm going to go back to YouTube and show you guys my Brammed video, which is another issue that really, really bothers me. It, like, they really didn't do any kind of rebalancing. And I'm just going to mute myself for this. What I want to show here is how powerful this thing really is. So this is 40 endurance, 66 strength, and adds that 134. If I was down to 125, I'd have to take from either strength or endurance. If we look at what I have right now, I have Ring of Great Strength. I'm missing out on foes. My damage, watch this. 420 damage, alright? Okay, I can wear foes with the Great Axe. And watch this. 574. Now let's see what the damage is with Curse Weapon. 863. Okay? $625. Okay, that was 3 hits, alright? With Curse Weapon. Look how close that came. How much vit do you have, Woodchuck? He has 99 vit, alright? What's your level? You 125? Now, how much damage does this do, I wonder? hits, it almost does as much damage as the Brammed in 3. In 2 hits, I want to roll catch you, alright? So attack and then roll away. Or roll caught. 1209. Okay? 1209. $882 versus over 1200. Stay with me here, okay? Alright, this is definitely it. What I'm gonna do is reduce the weight by what I think is fair. I'm gonna reduce it to 24. I'm gonna increase the base damage to 240. Alright, so with debug, I'm essentially just showing that I can do exactly what a developer can do, and I'm just a normal PvP guy who happens to have a modded console, who happens to have debug. I can effectively modify the game to rebalance things and test things, and I have the experience to do this effectively for every weapon. And honestly, the results speak for themselves. What I was able to do is modify the weapon so that it is viable and not broken. And it's able to do what it needs to do to counter things like the Dark Silver Shields, which are such a crutch in meta. Like, part of the reason that I did not stay in the JP meta is because literally everyone was running a Dark Silver Shield and either a right-hand katana or a blessed greatsword. That was the meta. Is there any reason that the same thing is not going to happen when you have sweaty tryhards coming over from Dark Souls 1 and Dark Souls 2 and Dark Souls 3 and Bloodborne? Is there any evidence to suggest that they will not devolve the meta to something as simple as that? Furthermore, I'd like to add that the JP meta was very, very passive. Now, any of you in chat who have the Demon Souls remake, what has your general opinion of PvP been? Use the Dark Silver Shield. I can deal with that. Okay, I'm gonna deal with shields. See? Look at that. I can deal with that. Use the Dark Silver Shield. Backstab it, 1100. Stab in exchange for 14 weight. Okay, now that he's got the Dark Silver Shield, you'll be able to see it. To consider doing something like this. Look at that. Look at that. See? I can actually do something about a Dark Silver Shield now. Amazing, right? Like, you can actually use a build with a weapon that's designed for it, and the weapon does what it's supposed to do. Alright, so that's that. This isn't just about Brammed, it's just about thinking about how things balance out, and I don't think that Bluepoint really took it seriously. I think they were afraid that if they made any changes, people would complain. And I know people would. But there are changes that need to be made to this game to ensure that it does not boil down to people hating the PvP because it's so broken, I'm actually going to go on Twitter and show you an exchange that I had with Scott Jund. Let's see, where's... I guess the best place to do it would be on my profile. So, go there. Okay. It's going to be in replies, I think. Yeah. Okay. Demon Souls doesn't actually seem like a particularly popular topic on YouTube. I'm wondering why. Is it just that people still don't have a PS5 yet? I have a PS5, 13.1%. No PS5, 86.9%. This is Sunlight Blade, okay? And this the best thing that I can do actually is probably go to this. So, its one-time appeal is awesome, as it's a wonderful remake, but in truth, it's really just an old game with a very fresh coat of game. I think he meant paint. It also has pretty meh PvP compared to other Souls games, so no staying power that way. What do you think of that? Please tell me. Like, I'm just so eager to hear your opinions on this interesting take. Level 33, it's far too easy to twink. Yep, it's because there's no weapon or... Yeah, there's no weapon matchmaking, and that's always going to be the case, because a maxed out weapon is just going to crush any host at low level. About as easy as twinking in Dark Souls Remaster. Yep. It's fun, but things like Dark Silver Shield, Cursed Weapon, and 0-level matchmaking for Phantoms is really annoying. Also, hosts can instantly resummon blues. Yeah, that's a problem. That's a huge problem. Gonna have to use +2 or +6 standard for it to be more fair. Yep, you're gonna have to limit yourself. That's the problem. You're gonna have to limit yourself. And how many people out there do you think are going to limit themselves? How many are going to take the Saint Riot approach and the Ghost Hardware approach that they take to Bloodborne, where they're like, okay, I'm going to not take my weapon to +10, I'm going to take it to +6, and I'm only going to invade at level, 60 with that +6 weapon, and I'm not going to use cursed gems. How many people do you think are going to do that? I'll let you know now, not many. Most invaders are ruthless. I know this from experience as an invader. I know this from experience as someone playing through the game for the first time, meeting an invader who is my level, and they've got max healing and max consumables, and they basically one-shot me. Like, I totally get that. JP players are brutal to fight. Crescent Moon Uchi, College Estoc, and DSS plus warding. Yeah. I think that it's going to become more about the Blessed Greatsword in the coming months. But yeah, that's basically it. Don't have a PS5, so I don't have any opinion. And hello to you too, Jojo. Egotistic players who are comparing 4+ years of meta experience in other games, comparing all that to 0 experience in Demon Souls PvP. I think that the major issue is that you're going to have a huge clash of egos, and everyone is going to fight for the edge in PvP, and it's just not going to result in longevity. Because people have this opinion that the PvP is really bad, and it's old and dated. And they come at the game with this opinion, which is based on how broken it can be, how sweaty it can be. If you're fighting someone who's extremely sweaty and they're doing everything they possibly can to win, yeah, it can be pretty bad. But then, why is the PvP in the other games so much better than Demon Souls? And that's why I said, the original PvP was good, don't know what you're on about when all modern Souls PvP is in shambles. This is literally every single Soulsborne game. It is in shambles. The PvP is not balanced. It's a mess. Because From Software is terrible at going back at their games, looking back and saying, oh, hey, that's kind of a problem. We need to fix that. So they either buff things that don't need to be buffed, or nerf things that don't need to be nerfed, or they over-nerf or over-buff. And they leave it at that. Or they just leave things alone. They ignore it. Like, From Software is really good at neglecting their games. We all know this. We've known this for years. I think the more nuanced view is that Demon Souls development was expected to be a failure, so they had a lot of creative liberties and weren't concerned with balance in general, let alone PvP balance. Some adjustments could be made to fix the passivity in the remake, but Bluepoint hit a weird middle ground where they stuck pretty close to the original but made enough changes where it is different. I think that's a fair assessment, but let's also look at Demon Souls PvP as being more equally broken than any of the other Souls games, or Bloodborne. Dark Souls 1 has a very, very tight meta of Chaos Rapier at low level, or even mid-level. Honestly, even at, like, meta level, you see rapiers very commonly, and they're used for chain backstabs. And if it's not a rapier, then it is usually a Dark Silver Tracer, or it is a Great Club, because that's your backstab stick. That Crystal Great Club is like a one-shot if you have Power Within, or if they have less than, whatever HP it is to have Ring of Favor and Mom Mask. Like, that's the whole reason that Mom Mask and Ring of Favor are so popular. It's because you can survive. You can survive that Great Club backstab. So, what I did is I showed Scott the video of my duel with Ravia, which was done 2 weeks ago? I think it was 2 weeks ago. You really want to have that conversation that Demon Souls PvP is well made. It was not intentionally well made. I think that what they did is they threw it together and it somehow worked. It somehow became reasonably balanced. So much that you actually saw a lot of variety in PvP. You saw light weapon builds, you saw faith builds, you saw strength builds, dex builds, quality builds, you saw vit gouges and mages. You literally saw a good representation of everything, with only a few builds actually making it to a step above that. And that's what became meta. But it was not such an overwhelming advantage in most cases that it's all you ever saw. And back then, people didn't really care. Players did not really care about being at that cutting edge of PvP because they didn't take it seriously. You talk to any of the vets, any of them, and say, how serious was PvP? How serious was the PvP scene back in 2010, 2011, 2012? They'd be like, we didn't take it seriously. We were looking to style on each other and stuff. We weren't, like, the sweaty duels of Demon Souls PvP back in its prime are nothing compared to what you see with Dark Souls 3, or 2, or 1, or Bloodborne. Nowhere near as sweaty. Because players didn't really care. They didn't take it seriously. They thought, game's kind of busted, but it's fun, so we're just going to have fun. And It was all about style. If you could style on someone, that was worth 10 times the win. That was like raising a big flag and waving it over your head like, hey, look at me, I did this cool thing, y'all jealous. That kind of thing. Like, do better than me. And it was honestly a good thing for the PvP community to be like that, because it instilled good camaraderie amongst a lot of players. And that's something that I don't see on Dark Souls or Bloodborne. I never saw that on Dark Souls. Bloodborne kinda, but it's kind of died down. It died down in the recent years. I just kind of expect a mess of the PvP, but that doesn't mean it shouldn't happen. Dark Souls 3 is remarkably balanced for 1v1 in comparison to other games, but that doesn't stop it from being equally as turtle-oriented as Demon Souls or Bloodborne. So the issue that I had with Dark Souls PvP in 1v1s is that passivity is hugely rewarded. With Demon Souls, aggression is actually really good. If you can be aggressive on someone, you can run them down and you can destroy them. But you have to know what you're doing. Like, it's not just blind aggression. It's not like you're playing Bloodborne and you're just shooting at someone and calling that aggression. You're actively chasing someone down. If they're playing passive, yeah, they can dodge everything, but if you play aggressive, it is rewarding. It's much more so than Dark Souls 3. Kind of like Bloodborne, honestly. Poise compounds passivity because you can get punished for just attacking the opponent without backstabbing. Yeah, that was the problem with Dark Souls 1. Poise was a huge problem. If you didn't have the poise, you could just get comboed. And if you had the poise to withstand an attack, then you could just run around and backstab them. It was stupid. Dark Souls 3 had poise where it was tied to armor. So, you know, with how matchmaking works, even if you are fighting a scaled summon at a lower soul level, they have poise because they have the levels to wear heavier armor. Like, things that work at low level don't work at a higher level because they have the armor. They have the poise. And that's huge. That is a huge issue with the balance of Dark Souls 3 PvP at mid to low level. Because they never accounted for that. When I was using my luck build, I used a blood reinforced club and a sharp notched whip. And between levels 46 and 60, I felt like I was doing really good against solo hosts who were not twinked. But if I was fighting someone who's twinked, using like Havel armor or using, let's see, ringed knight armor in the catacombs, it wasn't happening. And if I fought an overleveled, I couldn't proc. I couldn't stagger them. They could literally just walk in to whatever attack I was doing and just reactively poise through everything. And why? Why do I have to play more passive because someone else is playing passive and they're rewarded for it? Demon Souls not having poise just lended to the aggression. Like, you could honestly be aggressive because you didn't have to worry about someone having a specific armor set and being able to poise through your attacks. Yeah, you can hyper armor with certain weapons and certain attacks, but you know which attacks they are. You know the timing of those attacks. So it's really about knowing what you can and can't trade with. And that's awesome. people who knock Demon Souls PvP because it doesn't have poise, and it has infinite hyper armor, which they think is completely busted, have not really experienced Demon Souls PvP well enough to have an opinion. So, anyway, going back to this, I'm going to show you guys the video, the Ravia duel. Good game. When you're watching this fight, is your first impression, wow, this game looks janky as fuck, or wow, that looks slick? Because I feel like there are people that have one opinion or the other, and it's almost always like there's no middle ground. It's either you think one way or you think another. When you watch that, are you thinking, wow, those backstabs look janky as fuck, this PvP looks stupid? Or are you thinking, wow, that's fast and aggressive PvP? Like, and it's stylish. Do you want to play this for the fun of it? Or do you want to just do this, you know, little dance and say, hey, you know, I'm not going to do that, but cool. Like, you can enjoy your bad game. I really feel like that's the opinion that a lot of people take with Demon Souls. If I never played Demon Souls PvP, I would think the backstabs look bad, but that was the result of hitting the backstab angle at the extreme. See, what happened there with that fight against Ravia, I think it's due to latency, because if he was locked onto me and I backstabbed him, by the time the backstab triggers, he's already turned to face me, and that corrects his... like, the angle that he's facing me is where he gets backstabbed, and it doesn't correct the angle as if I backstabbed him where I backstabbed him at the angle I backstabbed him at. So it looks janky, but that's really just because of some minor latency. My fights against Ravia were not very latent. It was actually pretty consistent. More so than most people. So it looks janky, but that's just because of how the game is handling that backstab. It looks bad, but it's not, because they were starting to turn, and the game extrapolated that turn into the backstab. I don't know why anyone listens to big YouTubers. Half of them don't know anything about what they're saying. Yes, absolutely. They don't know what they're saying. They don't know the nuances. They don't know the details behind what is happening. And even if you explain it to them, they're like, yeah, okay, whatever. Players who hated and or refused to learn backstab mechanics in Dark Souls 1 are turned off by what they see here, and they project those things onto Demon Souls. That's probably true. Honestly, I hated Dark Souls 1 backstabs. I think they're stupid. There's no reason that you should get backstabbed by someone who is a roll away. If you get backstabbed, and you roll, and you get sucked back in and take the full damage, it really just rewards a crit-heavy meta. And That's exactly what we see with Dark Souls 1 PvP. Iframing backstabs adds a lot of depth. Yeah, it does. It adds an insane amount of depth because if you do make a mistake, the fact that you can iframe the backstab, it forgives you enough where mosquito. It's forgiving. Unlike Dark Souls 1 PvP, it is forgiving because if you do make a mistake, or if they are trying to bait an attack and punish with a backstab, if you're fast on the recovery and anticipate the backstab, you can get out of it. Even if you get sucked back into the animation, unless it's really latent, you get knocked down with no damage. That gives them an opportunity to give a wake-up attack, which you can then punish, or roll out of, and both parties are rewarded for a skillful play at that rock, paper, scissors moment. But it's not dominating. Because a skillful wake-up is a really good skill to have. Like, if you can wake up reliably, it's a good skill. But if your opponent anticipates the wake-up with the proper timing, they can punish, or they can get away. More often than not, if I'm getting hit with a wake-up attack, I will either roll the attack, because I know the timing. I know the timing of their attacks. It's a solid read. You have to make the read. And I'll either dodge away, or I can roll backstab that wake-up. And if I roll backstab a DPS wake-up, that gives me the opportunity to hit them with my own wake-up. It's not completely nonsense. It makes sense. It's not like... It doesn't follow a normal chain of logic, because when you see the backstab and it doesn't trigger damage, you might be thinking, well, it shouldn't even be triggering that animation. But if you really think about it from a strategic perspective, for the time, it was the best decision they could make for PvP, because no one likes getting backstabbed in Dark Souls 1. No one likes that. And it even happens in Dark Souls 3. People are like, wow, that was a super laggy backstab. Like, I rolled and I still got backstabbed. It happens in Demon Souls, but if you get vacked, it's usually no damage. And that's fine. It's better that way. It's better that it does no damage than sucking you back in for the full damage. Or, one of my favorites is someone's running away in Dark Souls 3, you try to run up to them and attack them, you backstab instead, and they're out of range by the time the backstab triggers. So you're just stabbing the air, and it slows you down. And you use stamina. And you freeze in place. It's like, great. I just wasted an opportunity to deal damage, and they're getting away. They are rewarded for this tiny mistake that I made, which was not even my fault. In Demon Souls, if you try to run away and someone backstabs you, you're taking that backstab. Unless you roll it, you're taking that backstab. And that's another thing that helps promote aggression. Like, you can't get away unless you are properly spaced, or you roll it. I think that's so much better. So people complaining about it, honestly, they can go play other games like Dark Souls 3. They can play with the unscaled dragon armor, Havels at meta, and all that garbage. Demon Souls, it's gonna stay the same, roughly. I mean, they're probably gonna change stuff, but the original Demon Souls is way better than a lot of people gave it credit for. And I think that the remake is going to be similar. A lot of people are going to look at the PvP and think, oh wow, this is garbage. And then you're going to start to see the montages roll out. Scorch, you know what I'm talking about. And once those montages start rolling out, you're going to see more and more players who are inspired to do what they see, to improve upon what they see, and to show off their style. You're going to see more players who are more willing to jump into PvP, and they're going to see these videos and be like, wow, this player is so good. They do such cool things. I want to do that. And that's the goal that I've had with my channel since I made it. Inspiring others to try the PvP in these games and try different things, to be creative and innovative and not just do the cookie cutter bullshit that everyone does on every game, and then they wonder why it's so boring. If they removed backstabs, you would have the issue of grass not being punishable. I think backstabs are ultimately the biggest balancer for grass. Like, hold on, I have a video. I'm actually going to pull up a video for this one. If you didn't have backstabs, grass would dominate, and it's because there's no way to punish them if there's no backstab. Like, a single hit from a weak weapon versus a full heal grass is not going to mean anything. Let's see, this is it. And I'll just remain quiet for this. So this is someone that I fought as the monk on the private server. Alright, one grass. Two. Three. Four. That was a block BS, by the way, so yeah, that's still a problem in the remake. So we're at 4 heals. It's 5 heals. That's 6. Seven. That's 8. That's 9. This is a pretty long fight, by the way. So he's at 9 heals. I have not healed once. That's 10 heals. That's 11. That was a blocked BS, by the way. The last one. 12 heals. 13. 14. 15. 16. 'That was a nice backstab, huh? 17. 18. That was 18. 18 grass. So yeah, backstab is kind of important for balancing grass. I don't think that it should be like life gems. The whole problem with life gems is that you could stack the regen-like healing to give you more HP back than you would normally get from a quick heal. Hold on. So basically, if you were, let's say you were like at 90% HP, and you quickly pop a life gem. If you're getting backstabbed by an attack that does, let's say 30% of your HP, you're going from 90% down to 60%, and if that life gem is regenerating like 30% of your HP bar, instead of getting the 10%, you're getting all of that 30% back because of the delay. And that's a problem. It's better if it's instant, but they do need to reduce the speed of grass. I mean, as is, it's not a huge issue because you can be so fast and aggressive in Demon Souls anyway that you can punish grass. as evident in this video, but you can at least deal with it. It's not like Dark Souls 3 where they can just face you the entire time, backpedaling, and you can't reliably punish the Estus. Like, the fact that you can move while you're chugging Estus, that's a major part of why it was so broken, the way that they implemented it. It was not a good system. Grass and Demon Souls, you're locked in place. You can't move. So, if you're facing a certain way, and they're running right at you, they can easily backstab you. I think it's better, it's more rewarding of skillful play, honestly. So, I don't see a huge issue as is, but I do think that the grass limits are a bit ridiculous right now. As far as I know, the limits are 10 New Moon, 10 Dark Moon, I think it's 15 Full Moon, and then 25 of the rest of the grass. I think that's what it is. So if you're going to be fighting someone who is grassing, you'd better hope that they are not like a Vit Gouge. Oh, it's 25 Full Moon, 50 Half Moon. I don't think Half Moon and below are a problem. I really think that it's just Full Moon all the way up to Dark Moon that's a problem, because that's too much. But it has its pros and cons, because if you reduce grass, then fight clubs are going to be more hampered. What we really need is a Monster Hunter animation where you have to cook the grass for 25 seconds on a rotisserie. Yeah, basically. Shields reducing mobility would be interesting too. I talked about a reduction of locked-on turning speed before the remake released. I think that there are too many incentives for remaining locked on, but unlocked play is still very strong in Demon Souls. So I'm not really worried about that. But the main issue that I see with locking on with a shield is that you are constantly tracking your opponent's position with the shield, and that's how blocked BS happens. So if they slowed down the turning speed, that would be great. And if they slowed down your movement speed, either forward, backward, or left or right, that'd be even better, because it means that you are locked in place, like you're in a defensive position. You're not just holding the shield up waiting to block an attack so that you can run around and backstab. That's something that was kind of popular in the Dark Souls 3 meta and the Dark Souls 1 meta. Is that grass amount assuming 99 Vit with Ring of Herculean Strength? No, that's just the absolute limit. A Vit Gouge is going to have more access to those items, though, because they can carry the max limit, potentially. Whereas, if you're running a lower Vit build, such as a Pure Mage, you're going to be less able to carry grass. Like, you're disadvantaged against other players in grass fights, but at the same time, I think that it's honestly not a problem unless you get into a scenario where you're invading or getting summoned into a fight with a host who's completely stacked with grass and they want to abuse that. I do want to return to something that was said earlier. Let's see. I'm trying to remember what it was. I'm reading further up in chat, so give me a minute. Oh, Scorch brought this up. So, one of the major issues with Dark Souls 3 is that resummoning was quick. Something that the original Demon Souls had was a natural delay between summoning that made it so that a host couldn't just instantly pull their phantom. That was just because of load times. If the phantom placed their sign, there was a certain amount of time before that sign showed up in the host's world. And then after the host grabbed that sign, there was a pretty substantial amount of time before they were actually summoned, which was like 20 to 30 seconds. And if they came into that world, let's just say they're instantly killed, they have to wait that 20 to 30 seconds to spawn back in their world and repeat that whole process. So it's like a minute and a half per resummon. In the Demon Souls remake, resummons are super, super fast because they have practically no load time and they don't have a cooldown. Yeah, I played that earlier, Lyco. I played RK's video. So let's see. I need to look up the resummoning thing. Just to kind of give you an idea of how fast it is. Let's see. Oh, this one right here. This is a good example video. If it'll load. Okay, he's dead, right? I'm already fighting a blue. And he's already resummoning. He's got 2 blues. Like, y'all, look at the timing. How fast was that? Okay, so that's 2 players down. And there's the other summon. Like, I literally just killed someone, and they're pulling someone else. They're just camping. Just camping and resummoning so that their buddies can do the work for them. That's 3 down. And look at that. There's my buddy. The guy that I killed first. What do you think? You think that's fair that they should be able to resummon like as soon as someone is out of their world? I can't say how many times this has happened to me in Dark Souls 3. It is just so overwhelming that hosts can literally just pull phantoms as soon as someone despawns from their world, boom, another summon. Every time. And you can do that in Demon Souls. You can do it on the remake because there are faster load times. It's faster than what it would be on Dark Souls 3. It's faster than Dark Souls 3 because there are faster load times. And there's no cooldown. There should be a cooldown. I think even if there wasn't an invader present, for the sake of keeping the game balanced, I think what they need to do is they need to add a cooldown, because if someone is just going to serial resummon their phantoms, they could literally just let them do the world for them. I think if you're going to resummon, then you should have to go through the pain of either going back to the Nexus, dying, respawning, and reviving, waiting a certain amount of time, or logging out and logging back in. Because honestly, just being able to summon your buddies as soon as they die, there's no value to that. It detracts from the experience of the game where you actually have to struggle, and it's not a hard game to begin with. So there's no reason that you should be able to do anything like this. There's no reason that you should be able to just fill slots as they are emptied. It might not be super convenient for fight clubs, but we already have 3v3 possible, so I don't see the big deal. I think that it is completely valid. I think it would be very good for the game to have that cooldown to prevent abuse. So going back to the deletion stick, I call it the death stick. I suspected that the deletion stick would be possible via luck overflow, but I never expected it would be so easy. Yeah, like I said, it was a glitch that existed in the original Demon Souls, the JP version of the original Demon Souls. They patched it out. NA and EU never saw it. But on the Asian version, it was there, they patched it, and you never saw it again. You could still save edit for those values. Like, luck is not capped in either direction, so you could still save edit a character. But what has happened with the luck glitch, thanks to the gold coins, is that you can get that overflow to exist, and it's bad. It's terrible. The ability to D-level luck, too, below base is huge. I think that's a bigger issue, honestly, because you just completely break matchmaking. Like, who cares about these people who are level 999 with their 80,000 luck at whatever soul level they were at? They're level 999. Their matchmaking is busted. They're isolated. Unless they do co-op. Like password summons. But reducing luck below base, that's free points that you shouldn't have. And reducing it into the negatives, that's no different from stat padding. Like, doing that with a save editor or a cheat engine, it's no different. Demon Souls most likely does not have any cheat detection, so we are going to have to worry about this until it gets fixed. And, you know, they're not going to be banning anyone. This is my new PvP build, soul level 125, 99 vit, 66 strength, 50 dex, negative 99 luck. Yep, basically. And you can even take it a step further. Go with 99 in all stats. And then negative whatever in luck. Negative, let's see, 712. 712 is the max level, so you could go with 580 something, 590 something. Let me see. 587. You could go with a level, a max level at 125 by having negative 587 luck or something stupid like that. But anyway, yeah, that's kind of a problem. I will commend Bluepoint for what they did with the matchmaking, or not the matchmaking, the decision to add an invader for every co-op slot that is filled. I think that is wonderful. Like, that was best case scenario, everything I was hoping for with this upped player limit. Like, phenomenal, big brained thought process right there. They knocked that out of the park. I think that's just so great because it lines up with keeping the game challenging. Invaders were supposed to be an obstacle, and with the current the Souls environment the way it is, people have experience. People will abuse every single thing they can. 3v3 is the best case. You don't have 5v1s. I actually have a video of a 5v1. Let me see if I can find that. I have so many of these videos that can apply to this situation. Okay, five friendlies, one invader. Okay, here we go. So this is an invasion I had where I had 5 friendly players in one world. None of them could hit each other, okay? It was Blues, Phantom, Host. That was it. 5 all at once against one invader. Tell me this is balanced. Tell me this is fair. And they fixed this problem entirely. They made it impossible to have a 5v1. Like, the most that you can do, the most that you can have is 3v1 with 2 invaders who are just not going to do anything. They're going to be useless. At most, a body block. That's it. That's awesome. Can you imagine 4-1 though? If you had 5 players fighting you? Gosh, I can't even imagine a 5v1 in 4-1. Like, you'd have one player that is blocking the exit, you'd have 3 surrounding the spawn point, and you'd have the host casting Banish, and that's it. Like, there's no way to win that. I think this kills the Phantom. I'm not sure. I think it does. Yes, it does. 5 players spamming parry against a dude trapped against a corner and doing riposte animation cancel soul sucks. I mean, you wouldn't even have to do that. You could just literally infinite headbutt someone into a corner and do it that way. I think it's pretty soon that I get the 5v1. If you headbutt someone into a corner, there's no getting away from it. I think that they'd be able to soul suck them, no problem. But at the same time, there's the issue of people being able to quit out at any time during multiplayer, which is a new thing. Oh, I love seeing those blue eyes show up. Like, 3 blues, 1 phantom, 1 host. That is like, peak Dark Souls. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't think that soulsuck is going to be as much of an issue as people think, but you are going to have to worry about ganks that are 3v1 with 2 traitor reds that are like blocking your retreat, because there's nothing you can do. Reds are not hostile to each other. This was actually something that was always the case in Demon Souls, but if you had 2 reds, it was taking a co-op slot. So you couldn't see abuse with that. It was also a very, very rare glitch, so hardly anyone heard about it. And if you heard about it, you'd never seen it. Only a few people saw it. I saw it like 2 or 3 times in all of my hours of playing meta, which is crazy to think about. I do think that it is going to be abused. I think that we are going to see 3v1s with traitor reds. Like, you can do that with password summons now. But at least it's not a 5v1. Like, it could be a 5v1 like this. Now it's a 4v1. I still can't believe I won this invasion. That's 2 down. So it's a 3v1 still. I love this, the passive roll, because you can get away with this crap. You can get away with this crap on Dark Souls because there is that delay on the backstab. You can't get away with that on Demon Souls. If someone tries to reactively roll away from a backstab, they get knocked down. Or they take the damage. It's much better than people give it credit for. Actually, something that I want to something I want you guys to hear, if you haven't heard it already. Dang It JM left an interesting series of sound bites, audio clips that I think you guys should hear. And this is, if I don't want to put words into his mouth, but I feel like this may have been in response to what he saw with my conversation with Scott Jund, because he did like my response. So bear that in mind when you're listening to this. It's really good.
Recently, Sunlight Blade, y'all know him, y'all love him, wrote a Twitter post and attached a poll onto it, simply asking his followers and anyone else interested, asking them why Demon Souls isn't a popular topic on YouTube. Something that he's noticed, something that we could potentially look at through the analytics, wondering why Demon Souls isn't doing
That
so
good?
well, despite it being a PS5 launch title. And the two answers that you could have polled with were, I have a PS5, or I don't have a PS5, effectively yet. And I'm pretty sure the votes have almost reached 4,000 votes, but just under 90% of all those votes, individuals have said that they don't have a PS5 yet. And if you look in the comments of that specific poll that Sunlight Blade had, a bunch of people were corroborating this, saying that they aren't looking up Demon Souls content on YouTube. They aren't looking up streams. They are saving that experience of playing through the game the first time for themselves because they actually didn't play the PS3 version. I'm going to presume that a number of people haven't played the PS3 version. That was 10 years ago. Now, what are we talking about today? Why am I bringing this up? The question is, how long will Demon Souls last in terms of popularity, in terms of relevancy, right? Its longevity, if you will. Because on that same poll, I saw a few, just a little bit, just a few comments going a step further. In fact, predicting the end game of Demon Souls. Saying that it's, while being a great remake, it is still a coat of paint, a fresh coat of paint for what is effectively, mechanically, a 10-year-old game. And folks will begin to realize this and the game won't have much staying power, if you will.
I think that JM is going to make a really good point, and I hope you guys agree, coming up in a little bit.
Others have said that, once they realize that the PvP is so imbalanced, they will leave it. The game will die, right? This is what's funny when... Hold on. You know what? Before I get on that tirade, first I just want to say that I want to keep it reasonable, level-headed. Demon Souls, when it comes to its longevity, it has a couple of obstacles in the road. Demon Souls is a PlayStation exclusive, just in the same way as Bloodborne. There's only going to be so many people interested in Bloodborne, even though Bloodborne is the best thing this side of the universe, right? Despite it being so good, so great, not only is there going to be a lack, not as many people playing it compared to something like Dark Souls 3. I mean, look at some of the analytics from people like PvP Skills or Ouroboros, right? Or VatiVidya. Look at all their videos in comparison between Dark Souls 3 and Bloodborne, and return back here and think like, oh damn, Dark Souls 3 did so much better than any of the Bloodborne videos did. And now you might be thinking, oh, why could that be? It wasn't Bloodborne one of the most highly regarded games? Well, yeah, that's just it. It was, but it also wasn't exclusive. Demon Souls is Dark Souls 3, all of the games were available throughout all the platforms, while now Bloodborne and including Demon Souls are just available on one. So immediately, Demon Souls will have a smaller player base to mingle with. And yes, that is true. Demon Souls is a predecessor to the rest of the game, so automatically there's going to be a lot of older game design that stuff like Dark Souls 3 and Bloodborne improved upon, especially in the PvE department. There are more kinetic, more dynamic bosses in those later games that Demon Souls does not have.
So, with regard to what he just said, more dynamic, more kinetic bosses. A lot of people who are coming into Demon Souls fresh don't realize that the point of the bosses in Demon Souls is more story-oriented than any of the later games. The reason that you approach these bosses the way you do is not for reflex and flash. It is mainly strategy. How you approach the boss. You are supposed to look at the situation that you're in, see what kinds of things work and don't work, and base your strategy on addressing the weaknesses in how you've been playing the game. Flame Lurker, for example. He's a huge problem for a lot of players because he is fast and aggressive, and a lot of players don't realize that there are things that you can do to make him a lot easier. If you use a weapon that does high poise damage, you can effectively stagger him enough to get a lot of damage in. And if you're using a shield with high fire resistance, such as the Brushwood Shield or Purple Flame Shield, even the Night Shield does really, really well against Flame Lurker, it shuts down a lot of his attacks. It makes it a lot easier to deal with him. And he's weak to magic damage. So, if you have anything that does magic damage, bring that. Use that. That's how you deal with him. It's a more thoughtful process. Most of the bosses are puzzles. Like, Flame Lurker is the least puzzle of all the bosses, but he still has a certain element of strategy to him. Dragon God is Beta Chaos 1.0, and what you're supposed to do is use stealth, not like the ring or cloak or anything like that, but you're supposed to effectively be quick about breaking down the barriers and get to a safe spot before he punches, before he breathes his fire. And you do that all the way through until you beat him. It's fairly simple, actually. And a lot of people really struggle with Dragon God because they try to rush it. And it's not the kind of boss where you rush it. So, people are approaching this game with the perspective that you're supposed to do everything the same as what you did with Dark Souls and Bloodborne. And you don't. You can't do that. It's different. But going back to what Jam was saying about how people are looking at the meta, how they're looking at what things are going to be like down the road, a lot of these predictions are very closed-minded. They're thinking, this is an old game, there's no way people are going to have fun, it is so broken and janky, and they have not really experienced what it's like at its best. If you haven't experienced Demon Souls PvP at its best, then you will never know what you're missing out on. and they base their opinions on the worst experience that they had in PvP, or they base it on some video that they saw on YouTube, like Iron Pineapple, or Sunlight Blade, or PvP Skills, or Moose Torn, or whatever. They base their opinions on these big YouTuber videos that have a tendency of showing things in a certain perspective that is not necessarily accurate to what you should expect to see. And the result is people get the idea that the PvP is bad. People using a Cursed Dragon Bone Smasher at level 50, 60, one-shotting a party of 3. They're like, oh my god, that's so stupid. And they don't realize, one, they're using a very overpowered weapon with a very overpowered buff at a soul level where they shouldn't, like, they should not have a max upgraded weapon. They shouldn't be invading someone with this much AR, but they are because there's no weapon matchmaking. They don't understand that there are things that should exist and could exist that would mitigate that and make it more reasonable. They assume that it's going to be terrible. The one-shot twink videos are what get views? Yep, that's exactly it. That's all they see. They don't see high-level PvP. They don't see invasions that are not like a Cursed Dragon Bone Smasher or Northern Regalia or something stupid like that. They don't see any evidence of people doing something interesting because that's not what gets views. So they have this skewed opinion. And Scott Jund is just one person who really seems to have that kind of opinion where, you know, they experienced PvP, they didn't think anything of it because they thought, oh, this is a janky mess, and they don't like how it looks. Or they don't like how it feels because they don't want to invest the time into it. And really, Demon Souls PvP is just as balanced, if not more so, than all of the other Soulsborne, because even if things are broken, a lot of things are so close in how they are broken that they kind of cancel each other out. Like, I know I was talking about shields being too powerful, but if you think about how shields work, the fact that physical shields can get ridiculous stability is part of what balances out things like Curse Weapon Dex and Curse Weapon Strength, because you can block those attacks and wait out the buff. It's why shields are so strong in meta, because you can wait out buffs. Not to say that that's what should remain the case, but it's part of how the meta evolved. It was a gradual understanding that things cancel each other out, and they, even if it seems like it's a broken mess, it is a broken mess that is basically in harmony. Everything is kind of broken equally. And you don't see that with Dark Souls 3, or Dark Souls 2, or Dark Souls 1, or Bloodborne. And I can go through the metas for each of those, but I'm not going to, because y'all probably know. So anyway, let's continue with JM.
This is true. But what tickles my funny bone, what rattles my gears to the absolute core, is to see folks that just call it imbalanced, and that's the crux of the argument. The thing is, though, let's assume that we just play Souls games forever. We don't play any other game. And we're going to drop Demon Souls to go back to one of the older Souls games and play that instead. If you use the imbalanced argument on Demon Souls, boy, is there going to be a surprise for you when you go back to insert Souls game here. Because it all is the same, has similar issues, gunk in the seams. Like, are you joking? Balance is not the issue when it comes to playing Souls PvP. It's whether or not it's fun to you.
Jam makes a great point here. It's about whether it's fun. Part of the reason that I could not enjoy Bloodborne anymore is because there were a lot of ways that you could make the PvP very unfun. Like, for example, Quality Sauce Beer, and Adept Moonlight, and -R1 Bloodletter. Those are things that made the PvP feel so stupid, so low IQ, brain dead, that it just was not fun to invest any more time into, because you would ultimately be like, it doesn't matter how smart you are with your play. If someone is being passive and they're playing a gimmick build, they can gimmick you to death quite easily. If they play reactive, blunt, Holy Moonlight, R1, delay R1, reactive, dash catch, they two-shot you, that's it, good game. And yeah, have fun with loading screens. Dark Souls 1, you get backstabbed once. There goes like half to 90% of your HP, if not your whole bar. And when you get back up, you can get chained. And that's it, you're dead. That's a good game. A lot of people find different things fun in PvP, but I think that Demon Souls has greater mass appeal than the other games too. At least with regard to how the multiplayer works. I think that Dark Souls, the entire Dark Souls franchise always had really poorly balanced PvP, but I didn't honestly find a lot of it fun. Like, it became stale very quickly, and I didn't really feel that with Demon Souls. I felt like with Demon Souls there was enough variety that it could stay interesting for a long time, and it still is. And a lot of people who have said over the years, oh yeah, the PvP's broken, the PvP's stupid, and yeah, I just find it boring. Most of the people who say that are people who either did not invest the time into trying different things or learning how to play on a high level, or, well, this kind of goes into the same vein, but they played something to death because it was meta. They were sweaty as fuck playing something to death, and they got bored because they were doing the same thing over and over. And it's like, try something else. Demon Souls has so many options, and so many of those options are viable. You can do so much in the game. You can run a light weapon build. You can run a strength build. You can run a quality. You can run a dex. You can run a mage. You can run a spell sword. You can run a spell gax. You can run a faith build. You can run something weird, like a fists build, a hands of God build. You can run a bunch of different kinds of mages. There are a lot of things that you can do, and if you don't explore those, if you just stick to what is meta, like a Vit Gouge Northern Regalia, or Cursed DBS, or Two Cats, or DSS S-Stock, you're not going to have fun because you're just going to be there to put people into loading screens. You're not enjoying the PvP for the journey. You are just doing it for the end result, and I don't think that's the way to play these games. I think that's honestly what causes people to get burned out, or think it's boring, or they get a god complex. That's a thing. I've seen plenty of people get a god complex because they think they're a Dark Souls PvP god, and it's like, shut up. No, you're not. Like, you're playing a busted build in a busted game, and you think you're like doing something special, and it's like, no, you're just doing what everyone else does. You're just doing it slightly better. But try something different. Try something interesting. There's a lot more fun to be had that way. So let's continue on.
Balance is a question for the bigger nerds out there of whether or not this matters in the game, or whether or not the Turtle S stock is so powerful. Well, guess what? The Turtle S stock is powerful throughout all the games. There's no way you're going to escape it. But you're going to leave Demon Souls and then go right back into Bloodborne like, the Turtle stock doesn't exist here. Rider Shield exists. Surprise! Anyway, Demon Souls longevity. Simply due to the fact, I believe, due to the fact of the high demand and lower supply of PS5s out there, due to the scalping issues that the PlayStation 5 has also been going through, there will be a steady stream of new people coming in, of new co-opers, of new invaders. There will be activity for a couple of months, I'm going to say right now. Honestly, I see it going strong in terms of activity for invaders, for co-op and all of that, to at least the summer of 2021. That is my prediction as of right on that, but at least until the summer.
Jam makes a really good point here that there is a delay with consoles that is going to add to the longevity of Demon Souls, because people are not going to be watching Souls content or Demon Souls content until they get a PS5. And as people get a PS5, you're going to see a constant stream of more people running through the game. And you're going to see fairly consistent activity for months on end. Like, this isn't going away as quickly as people think it is going to, especially big YouTubers. They think it's going to go away, but it is going to be pretty consistent all the way up until most people have a PS5 and have had a PS5 for at least a month or two. That is my prediction. I'm not going to give a timeline because I don't know. It really just depends on how Sony handles the release from here on out. It's been terrible. It sucks. Sony really sucks as a company, to be honest. Terrible customer service, but where we're at right now is a lot of people don't have PS5s, and as they get PS5s with this gradual, shitty, slow release of a console, you're going to see fairly consistent activity all the way up until most people have the console and have played through the game at least twice. Speaking of running something weird, I wanted to ask you your thoughts on my Nudge TOB build. It's essentially just 3339 TOB that uses 2 magical sharpness effects and a rune shield with the extra points of it. 3339, what level is this? It really just depends on what the level is. I think that 3339 is not optimal. You may want to polarize it more toward faith or magic, depending on what you want to use. But I'm just going to give my opinion on that for now, and continue on with the rest of JM's little spiel.
At least until June, May even. Because we haven't gotten any news for Elden Ring. Who knows when we're ever going to get that shit.
It's a
Let me
myth.
tell you something. People are trying to doomsday Demon Souls, and it's not even been, barely been a month yet. Let me tell you something.
It's a month.
Give
as
it
of
some
today.
time. It's way too early to call, but goddamn. If you have the game, enjoy it as much as you can. If you don't have the game, then hold on tightly because the game's waiting for you. Anyway, take care of yourselves out there.
So yeah, that just reinforces what I was just saying. 125, a 3339 TOB is going to be pretty weak. I would honestly just go with dropping the Rune Shield. I wouldn't run the Rune Shield personally. Use the strength that you would use for the Rune Shield and put it toward your spells. Would do a more faith-heavy spread, but it has equal... See, the magic adjust is not... It's not completely accurate, unless they changed it and it's no longer hidden, but as far as I know, it was always equal. I got equal returns from both stats when I did my testing. If you polarize it more, that's going to make your main weapons more effective. So, if you're running like a large sword of Moonlight, bump those 3 points over from magic to faith for a little more damage on that Moonlight. Or if you're running a Crestock, bump those points over from faith to magic so you get more damage on your Crestock. Or whatever you're using. It really just depends on what melee weapon you're using and how you want to use the build overall. So let's see. Headbutt Cheese is possible because buff on a push is still in. Let's see. There's no duping. Ring of Longevity. I haven't touched this. I'll touch on it briefly. Boosts your max HP by 5%, and it boosts your current HP by that amount as well. So you can use it for 5% HP regen per toggle. Why I think this is going to be a problem is because crit animations in Demon Souls, in the remake, are much longer than the crits of the original. Like, instead of just being a backstab where you knock them on the ground and that's it, like a Hornet backstab from Dark Souls, depending on your weapon, you're hitting them multiple times, and it's a very, very exaggerated animation. For the greatsword, for greatswords, for example, on a backstab, you stab through the back. I believe you pull the sword out, you do a shoulder chop, and then you stab through the back again, and then pull the sword out, and they just fall to the ground. In that amount of time, if you use the Ring of Longevity, you could probably toggle back 15, 20, 25% of your HP before you can get up, and that in itself is going to be kind of a problem to deal with if you're facing someone like a Northern Regalia, a Vit Gouge. Like a 99 Vit build, that's 85 HP per toggle. And if you just did, let's just say you do 900 damage, they have 1985 HP. Or no, I guess if they're toggling it, yeah, they'd have 1985 HP. They have 1085 HP when the backstab initiates, and if you're able to toggle, let's just say you're able to toggle 4 times. What's 4 times 85? Here, I'm going to do the math right here on the calculator. 4 times 85. 340. That's like a crushing claymore. Like, let's say you're facing a crushing claymore. That's an R1. Think about that. That's an R1. So yeah, that's a little bit of a problem. You can you can basically get an R1 of damage back from most weapons. And that's going to remain a thing. That's going to be abused. You know that's going to be abused. From what I've heard, you can change your equipment. If you can't, that's great. But if you can, that's a problem. And I hope that I hope it's not possible. But if it's possible, I hope it gets addressed. You can iframe backstab. Boss room duels are in. Phantom duping is still in. That's fine. Reds don't have friendly fire. I think that's a really good thing. We don't really need to touch on that. Hyper mode. Hyper mode is unmitigated, so that's an issue. Anti-magic field, they fixed it. Oh, they fixed it, but it's still too much. I think that it's way too much because AMF prevents all spells and it lasts like 2 to 3 minutes. Yeah. Ganks are gonna use that. I don't know if reds can use it on each other, but if a red was using that, and it was affecting the other red, that would be a problem. Just a little bit. Like, I'm glad that it's no longer a lag nuke, but it's gonna cause some problems. I guarantee it's gonna cause problems. I'm actually gonna look up Wizard Smasher build. Well, this is probably going to be the best one. I know Nino, and he's a cool dude. But yeah, AMF being the functional anti-mage thing that it is going to be kind of a problem. Well, that was easy. Yeah, I'm going to unmute.
GG easy. Hope you enjoyed this commentary video. Smash that R1 button. Bye! Uh-oh.
Oh no, I hope I don't fall.
Man, that's a ripper. I don't think he's gonna have anything that actually has, I don't think that he's gonna have anything that has extended MF effects affecting people. Like, you're not gonna see it.
Hold on, buddy boy. You're hurt real fucking bad. But you ain't dying. I'm gonna die.
Is it bad if this just makes me want to play? No, I don't think so, but There's the Barker bomb. He actually pinged Adam Barker for that.
I didn't mean to throw the bomb. I didn't mean to bark a bomb it. But here we are. Thanks for watching my little thing.
You want to be drenched in blood.
Ooh, that's some latency right there. Hate the new spear and halberd crits. Yeah. Yeah, mage, just wait out that AMF. Like, wait 2 to 3 minutes. You see that? That was 2 hits. I don't think, I think that they're a low level fighting people with no vit. And they're using max level. So a little bit of background as to who Nino is. I don't know if you know him, but he is a Dark Souls 3 invasion streamer. And a lot of the Dark Souls 3 PvPers have come into Demon Souls with the idea that the invasions are going to be just as brutal as Dark Souls 3. Especially with the fact that phantoms are not scaled. At least password phantoms. Dark Souls 3 PvPers are used to needing to over-prepare as an invader to deal with the crap that they dealt with hosts that are resummoning, the blues, and all that stupid stuff. Matchmaking ranges, etc. In Demon Souls, the matchmaking ranges seem to be more reasonable, not as huge. There is no weapon matchmaking, so you're either going to be invading someone who has something that is very competent, like the Soul Brand, Demon Brand, Northern Regalia, Dragon Weapons, whatever, because they're able to get those without worrying about their matchmaking. And then you're going to meet people who are just completely unprepared. They're using like a +2 weapon, and they deal no damage. And you're just like, ha! I killed you in one hit. Where's your VIT? And it's like, you're at level 30. They're not going to have VIT. They don't have the VIT to survive in Northern Regalia. They don't really understand it. I'm not saying Nino is like that, but based on how much damage he was doing relative to the players he was fighting, it does kind of suggest that he was meeting people who are a lower level. Like, he's invading at a low level with highly upgraded weapons that are doing a lot of damage than, you know, like a lot more damage than should be possible at that level, just because they're in an invasion range tier where they're fighting people who just don't have the points. They don't have the room for those points needed to survive those hits. And they're fighting, you know, +4, +5, like fully upgraded or close to fully upgraded weapons that are going to do way too much damage relative to what level they're at. Like, you can't compare a Northern Regalia to something like a +3 Fire Dagger on Dark Souls 3. Northern Regalia is doing stupid damage no matter what level, and it gets worse at lower level because there's no matchmaking. Did they ever fix the crossbow or nah? Is it still bad?
Bro. 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 Ooh. Ooh. Bro. Ooh.
So what's interesting about that, go away, Ad. What's interesting about that is you had a bunch of Dark Souls 3 players all in one session. Nino, Saint, JM, all in, oh, Ghost Hardware as well. You had 4 Dark Souls 3 PvPers in one session, and they're all playing like Dark Souls 3 PvPers with the spacing and all that stuff. And then when they actually start to meet experienced players, they're going to realize that may not be the ideal way to play. So it was really funny seeing that. I've never seen that video, and it was pretty funny, entertaining. Needless to say, I can't wait to invade them and open their eyes to the possibilities. Crossbows are still unupgradable and have basically no scaling. Yeah, that's a rip. I imagine that the animation, the lock-on and tracking is still really bad for them. Saw a lot of people in Discord recommending meta-level builds with 30-bit. Yeah. Invade them and kill all of them with Fireball Ignite. Yep, that's the plan. 30-bit, yep, that's a Dark Souls 3 thing. They're like, yep, 30-bit, it's gonna be enough. No. They should definitely all listen to the vets. And honestly, my guide is there for a reason. Everything in it, besides some small things like duping with Thomas, all valid. Because they left almost everything the same. And it's amazing that everything was left the same, but they left almost everything the same. My video, the Demon Souls remake video that I made, super accurate. Like, I'm gonna give myself a pat on the back for that one. I didn't expect it to be as accurate as it was, but it was really, really accurate. Yeah, so, anyways, general recommendation for builds. 40 vit minimum, that's for like a mage. Pure mage. Okay, not like a melee build. 45 for hybrids. 50 vit is pretty standard for most melee builds. And then above that is just bonus material. Unless you're like a vit gouge, and then that's just like, that's your thing. But yeah, a lot of people in the Discord need to listen to the vets. I think that I might have to talk to Zen and Maiden about setting up like veteran roles for people who know the most about the game. I think RK, JSL, myself, there are some others in chat like Saint and Valkyrie and people like that who know a lot of the specifics, and I do think that there should be a little bit of a special distinction for them because they do have a lot of knowledge of the game that they can share. But at the same time, I think that the reason not to do something like that would be so that no one feels like there's special treatment going on. But I'm not sure. We'll see. They may or may not go for it. They probably won't. Let's see. An interesting thing, this is also by Nino, an interesting change that they made to the remake is that reds can no longer attack the PvE. The reason that you could in the original is because the red was supposed to be able to deal with any kind of obstacle created by the PvE. If they were in the way, they could kill the PvE to get them out of the way. It also set up an interesting dynamic with, you know, the ability to be a nice invader who was trying to be helpful, and that's cool. But really, the fact that they took that out, and welcome Sleevey, and thank you for the birthday wishes. The fact that they took out the ability for reds to kill the PvE has led to an issue. And this is that issue.
In line of what will become the sometimes infamous series chock full of revolutionary and oftentimes highly experimental mechanics. Being the first, it's not really a surprise that certain elements of the game have aged like a fine mayonnaise. Take a look at this for example. A level mob completely shutting down the invasion like this is such a relic of 2009. Psych! Nope. This one is a brand new problem invented in 2020 for a 2020 game released on a new 2020 console in the year 2020. Yep, it's pretty bad. Here are some ways around it for those of you who don't already know. So, certain enemies in certain areas will undergo an almost complete reset given enough time. From my own testing, it seems that you actually have to walk away from the enemies for this to happen, and maybe even also look in another direction? I don't know. This test isn't exactly all that repeatable, and it could be the case that I moved away from the enemies right before they would reset anyways. Trust me, I stood there for a very long time waiting. So give this stuff a try next chance you get, and let me know in the comments what you find out. The next example is entirely specific to Area 4.2, aka the original path, and I feel this warrants its own section because the shadow lurking mobs will never actually reset once triggered. But if you find yourself stuck down below, you can follow this path all the way back to the start. The exception here is that if the host's world is in pure black tendency and they haven't killed the primordial demon, you're pretty much stuck here until the players either progress or you exit the game.
Absorb this with me. Invaders cannot kill PvE anymore, which has created a new issue of invaders not being able to progress because of PvE blocking the path. And this is one particular example of that being really bad, because a player, if you invade a host who has mobs blocking the path, they can wait as long as they want. They control this way. And there's nothing you can do about it. Like, once you have fallen off of that platform, you can't get back up. You're forced to quit. And there's nothing you can do about it. This is a new problem. I was actually really surprised and not surprised at the same time to see this, because the thought never occurred to me that this would become a problem. And it's been a problem since Dark Souls 1. Because PvE can block your path, and there's nothing you can do about it. It was never a limitation with Demon Souls. The invader could always do something. Has Bluepoint shown any evidence they really care about stuff like this? I'm going to assume they don't until proven otherwise. Bluepoint did listen to the community. It's why so many things about the remake are faithful to the original, to the degree that they literally took the original game, stripped it down to its foundation, and built back up on it. They got rid of running Firestorm and other spell swap glitches, but they left in Pivot Cast. So, and they left in Toggle Escape. They left in literally everything. So I think that they do care. It's just whether or not it will reach them, whether it'll reach their attention, and how much support they will give post-launch with patches. Because they're already working on the luck glitch patch, but there are other things that they need to consider that I've been going through for the last 3 hours. So yeah, we don't know if they're going to care about small things like this. This is honestly not a huge issue, but it is kind of important, because it is a big progress halt for an invasion. Like that's if you invade and you're in this situation, you're forced to either quit out or wait. If someone just decides that they're gonna leave their game idle for an hour and you wait for that hour, that's wasted time. They could be off eating lunch, or they could be, binging on Netflix, and you're just sitting in their world for nothing. You're wasting time. If you try to Whitestone, you're getting de-leveled. The only option that you have is disconnecting.
Yeah, so for anyone unaware, jumping up the level will cost your character a soul level. Likewise, if you attempt to use the White Ice Stone, and that isn't something that you want to be doing too often by accident, let alone on purpose. So it's safer to just exit to the main menu via the start button. Here's another quick example in the same area of an enemy you can get past but might not have been aware of. And then slightly further down we meet this lad, and this is one wide hole you can't get past no matter what. When you get blocked here, you'll have no choice but to exit the game, hire an attorney, get a gym membership, and take your route closer to that. And if the party you were chasing are really worth the pursuit, really put to the next archstone and then wait outside the door, and you may get it. So let me know in the comments if you encountered any other examples of either.
Alright. So that's that. Yeah, no one's been using the spreadsheet, to be honest. I mean, there's not a lot you can do when you don't have the game because you don't have PS5. But I am addressing that hopefully soon because I went to GameStop today. I ordered that fucking PS5 and hopefully GameStop follows through. Praying that GameStop does not just say, fuck you, we decided to cancel your order because we oversold, because a few of our stores decided to oversell, because they did not follow protocol, and they oversold. So too bad. Hopefully they don't say that. Hopefully they're like, oh yeah, your PS5's coming in the mail next week. Enjoy your PS5 and go rock Demon Souls because we know you're going to be great at it. So this has been a fun 3 hours. I'm trying to think of anything else. I don't think there's much that I can add. I've talked about the death stick. I've talked about the PvE blocking your path. I haven't talked about parries. Parries are stupid easy. And really all it takes is one clip to know that. Forgive the Twitter compression. Just kind of want to show you in low res. Look at that. The weapon has already passed through Scorch's body. It is right here when he gets parried. Yeah. Parries are too easy. And that's my TED Talk. Very safe, very spammable. Yeah, yeah, it is. That's basically meta right now. Like, there's a lot of parry spam going on because it's easy and it does a lot of damage, just like backstabs. But you know, parries are really easy now because you can do super easy setup parries. You cannot circle stab them. You can roll out of the backstab 100% of the time. Yep. I don't care about Twitter right now. Fuck you, Twitter. So anyways, I think we've covered just about everything tonight. I've covered the luck glitch. I've covered virtually everything. It's been a fun birthday. And I think I don't really want to play anything, so I'm just gonna probably hand you guys off to someone on Twitch. Let's see who I'm following that's streaming. Ghost Hardware's doing Dark Souls 3. Ugh, why? C-Janks, Demon Souls. RK is doing a Fight Club. Oh, fuck yeah, Pricey. Let's go say hi to Pricey. Opinions on butt cracks? Butt cracks. Well, everyone's got one. Hopefully the joke rings through. Alright, so we are going to raid Pricey. Nice dude. Love the guy. He is like a brother. Definitely go give him a follow. And yeah, just wish him a very good night and watch him. He's a lot of fun. Thank you for the birthday wishes. Oh my gosh, he's showing off his Pokemon Gold. Oh man, I love Pricey. He's a good guy. We're gonna go raid Pricey. Thanks for hanging out. It was a good birthday. Hope you guys have a good night.
Here's my Fiore Red.